I was at an interesting point in my life. My wife at the time and I had started some serious conversations about should our marriage continue. And for the first time, she had vocalized that she was done. We did a little bit of work together. It didn't seem to shift her mindset, but for me, it was a wake-up call that I needed to work on myself, regardless of whether we were gonna make it or if we didn't, and if I wanted a better relationship in the future, I had to look in the mirror, so to speak, and figure out, all right, what do I need to do differently? How do I need to change? How do I need to improve? Part of my big wake-up call for myself personally to work on myself was the realization that I had put myself last, that I had thought the right thing to do was to give to my family, to my wife, give everything to those around me. And I knew it was important to be strong, but I had totally misunderstood that it would be selfish that if I was first. But I came to a realization that no, I had to be first and I had to be strong in order for me to give the best version of myself to others. And that's not that's the opposite of selfish. That was a huge shift, just that mindset, and then to put into practice the daily habits and rituals that would allow me to, fill my cup and figure out the basic vitamins, so to speak. That was a huge thing. Hidden motives technique and collecting berries. Just, I'd heard these things all my married life. I was married 30 years. I knew I needed to validate my wife, but I could never figure out that balance between validating and you didn't necessarily have to agree, because I got confused. Oftentimes she would say, well, I want you to be your authentic self, and think to myself, well, I can validate you, but I don't agree with it. And then it would just kind of backfire. And so just the simple process or practice, I would rather say, of collecting berries, how women are different than men, and it just made so much sense. I noticed just the difference in that practice of collecting her berries and the emotional connections that came with that. And then the Clean Slate Letter was a great process to go through, and I've even used it with a son, and I plan to use it with my other children. Just that, I think the terminology used of the kind of laser-like focus of a surgeon is very powerful, to take ownership, but then to shift to the future and focus on what you will do to lead, what I will do to lead, has been a really, really impactful thing. The activation method, in my words, is awakening. It's a waking up. You're either asleep, literally, or sleepwalking through life. The activation method is a very targeted, prescribed set of practices to allow that awakening and activating, to the energy to start flowing, and to have the tools and a toolkit to help live a better life and have better relationships. I was a little skeptical looking into what's this all about, and it really resonated. It was the right thing at the right time. It was the right teacher for me and my personal growth. It's been huge. Stop thinking and just do it. Because what you'll find, or at least what I've found, is, thinking can only get you so far, and it's probably not as far as you really want to go. And you'll learn some things here in The Powerful Man of how to feel, and that will take you much, much farther than just the thinking. So just do it. This is a real important need for men in our modern society. We've lost so much in the last 100, 200 years in the way society's shifted. Men are struggling. Men have been cut off from what we need to pass on to each other as men, from fathers to sons. And I believe TPM is stepping in to help fill that better than pretty much anything I've ever found. So it's super important.